Hi, I'm Leon Scammahorn, CEO of Interspace Systems Corporation, and today I'm going to demonstrate on how to remove the battery boxes and the electronics module from the MEG 15 head. First thing you're going to need as far as a tool is just a plain old Phillips screwdriver. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you how to remove the electronics module, which is pretty simple. This is a nice feature for the MEG 15. Is that if there was a failure of the electronics and you had a spare module with you, you can do an easy, fast field repair. All right, the only tool you're going to need is a medium-sized Phillips screwdriver. Go into the electronics module right here. I'm just going to simply start unscrewing the first screw. And these screws are quite long, so be patient. Do not use a power driver or any electric tool on this. You'll end up stripping it out and damaging the threads, and that can affect the reliability of the waterproof seal that's underneath the electronics module. All right, there's number two. Simple as this, just gently pull off. And you can see the contacts that are down here, the gold contacts. And you have an O-ring that's sitting here. That gives it its pressure-proof capability, which protects all the contacts from moisture and pressure. And that's all there is to it. To put it back into place, you may want to put a little lubricant with a foam pad on the inside here, okay, on the inside of the sealing surface, and just gently line up everything as such. This is the index, which goes into the pocket of the head. And you want to push it straight down, like such. And then put the components back together again, making sure everything lines back up. When you get the first screw to start touching the lid to prevent unequal threading down on the lid and so on, go ahead and go to the other side and start screwing that down. And as you screw each one down, you want to apply equal pressure to both sides, so we have an equal pressure on the whole module. Okay, now I'll go back to this one. And these don't have to be tight. And that's all there is to it. I barely put any pressure on the screws at all. All right, now to remove a battery box, same thing. This is the the secondary network, or the secondary system on the electronics, and it can take 1 or 2 9-volt batteries to power it. And I put my finger underneath this tab right here, lift it up, and if I'm careful, there's a 9-volt battery right there on a connector, and then there's one more down here also, and they just lay inside. So you can just take the battery off, and you can replace the battery like such, and just put it back inside. Carefully put in the wires back in. Okay, so that's how you change the batteries out. But to change the box itself, if you for some reason damage the box, you can just unscrew these screws down here, and lift straight up. And you can see the connector that's on the bottom of the battery box. And again, this is an O-ring seal. Pretty simple. There's no reason to ever remove the electronics module or the battery boxes unless for some reason you have to conduct a field repair. And you need to be very sure that if the electronics have failed, you need to be able to diagnose that so you're not just tearing apart the electronics for no good reason. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the lid back on, and there is an O-ring seal on the inside of there, and that's, again, it's a pressure-proof box. And I'll put the long screws in, screw it all back together again carefully, and you don't need to overscrew any of this. All you need is the screws just keep the head on, and of course when you're going under pressure, the pressure inside the MEG 15 from the increasing surrounding pressure will push down on everything and making it seal even more. Those familiar with replacing the battery boxes on the classic MEG understand how all this works. And it's a very good system. It's the best system out there. It's pressure proof and reliable. You could flood the loop and water will not touch these batteries. But that'd be a bad thing, flooding the loop. Okay, gently screw it down. All right, that's it for that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put the battery box back in place. There's the contacts. And looking at that, it has a O-ring, that's the face seal. Go ahead and put this back into place. This is very simple. It drops down, replace the screws, and go ahead and start screwing everything back together again. That's all there is to it. Very clean, there's no wires. It's a beautiful piece of equipment, actually a work of art. So that's quality right there. It just screams out at you. All right, any questions? Contact Interspace Systems and we'll be glad to help. Thank you.